morning.
Chat is open. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. See you guys pop in. Morning.
Morning, guys. Good morning.
Good morning. It's Thursday.
Yes, sir. But one day closer to the networking.
Yep. Yeah, 6 days away from our main meeting.
Be a good time.
Good morning. Good morning. Hopping on in.
Morning, guys. Get started in 1 minute.
Yep. Mhm. Good morning. Happy Thursday, last day of the month.
I know. What the heck? This is crazy. It's gonna be your birthday month.
All right.
So many August birthdays.
Yep. I can see some names that I know, some new names. Hopping on in.
Right, guys. Let's go.
Hopping in. And I see some of you guys have been with us for 3 straight days in a row. Thank you.
I
Alter, definitely. Esther, Emily, I
committed.
think you've been at all three also.
Appreciate you guys. Could not have these awesome webinars without you guys. So thank you all for showing up. That is the first step, right, Anish, to show up for you,
First step.
your business, your passions. You have to show up every day. It's like no days off. Believing in yourself, no days off at all. So thank you guys for jumping on here. I appreciate it. As Anish said, this is our third webinar this week. So we know if you're tired, think of Anish. Think of how tired Anish must be. But no, seriously, guys, like we love this stuff. So we're happy to be here and happy to talk about something that's a little bit more personal today. So you guys are going to get some insider knowledge just pretty much on our CEO and lead mentor and the guy that's been keeping this thing going for a long, long time here, just helping as many people as we can. So Welcome, guys, to the BPM RIA webinar. That's Broward, Palm Beach, Miami-Dade Real Estate Investors Association, your only local and approved chapter here in South Florida that is in compliance with the National Real Estate Investors Association. So we're super happy to have you guys for our session today. We have Anish, our CEO and lead mentor, and we're going to talk about his journey from bankruptcy to buying his parents' home in cash, his blueprint, his experience. So just keep that in mind, guys. Everyone's journey looks different, but there are, similarities here and there in ways that we can relate and grow and learn from each other. So, that's what we're going to do today. And to get us started on a super positive note, oh gosh, guys. I had updated this to quick start and it didn't save. So somebody in here is winning a quick start ticket. Ignore the screen. I'm just gonna push off to the next slide so you guys don't text that wrong word, but you're gonna text the word quick start to 954-800-6961. Go over to the chat box. You're gonna see in your Zoom menu there is a chat box, and I wrote the instructions in there. So if you don't have a chat box, yes, you do. It's there. You might have to move your mouse around the screen to find it, but you guys have a chat box. It literally says the word chat. You click it, and sometimes it's in the more, and sometimes you got to move your mouse around to find it. But if you want to enter the raffle, you have to find the chat box because I wrote the instructions in there for you guys and those that are trickling on in. There you are. Again, text the word quick start to 954-800-6961. And today, somebody will be winning a free seat to our 2-day quick start training, which is a $695 value. So I will announce the winner at the very end, and good luck, you guys. I do also need to fix this slide for you guys. I'm hanging on by a thread here, you people. So don't judge me. But I'm gonna be at the events next week. I really want to meet you all. I want you guys to network. I want you all to get out there. I will be there August 6th, Wednesday, 5:30 to 8:30 at Nova Southeastern University. And then next week, we also have a webinar. Goodness gracious, you guys. I'll just go ahead and throw that link in the chat for y'all right now while we're here. But we do have a fun webinar next week that is just going to be kind of like an Ask Anish, and it's gonna be like ask him anything. It's a live Q&A. It's kind of like a coffee date with a niche, you could say. So we'll see you guys back on Zoom next week on Friday for a special, like I said, lunch date, coffee date, brunch vibes. It's giving brunch vibes for me because it's 11 to 12:30. So just think of like brunch with a niche. I don't know, get a mimosa, get a coffee, throw some Baileys in there. I don't know, whatever you want to do, but like just come with some questions, or come to just be a fly. I mean, don't be a fly on the wall because it is a live Q&A. So we want to hear from you guys. But yeah, link is in the chat for that live Q&A next week on Friday with Anish and with us. And then of course we have that networking event on Wednesday. And then that incredible Saturday workshop next week that if you are even thinking about investing at all, you got to come to this workshop. If you are a realtor, if you're a mortgage person, if you work with numbers whatsoever, you are going to want to be in this creative financing workshop so that you can be prepared for more deals that come your way and you can make deals happen using these creative financing strategies. So, looking forward to seeing you guys. It's gonna be a great time next week. It's like so much fun. I'm really pumped. So, easy way to keep up with our events. All you need to do is text the word BPM REIA, all one word, no spaces, to our event line, 954-800-6961. And you will get text updates for our events. And it's super easy and convenient. You're going to love it. Quick Start Training, our next 2-day boot camp is coming up August 16th and 17th. That is 2 full days via Zoom, cameras on, microphones on, extremely interactive. Although it is online, it is extremely interactive. You get 4 incredible business owners that you're going to want to meet, the owner of Independence Title, the owner of ReaFax, owner and creator of the Deal Finder software we use, ReaFax. You have our chief tax strategist, Jose Ramirez, as well as our primary contractor. If you don't want to know those people, then I don't know why you're here. So, you guys, these are all the people that get us our deals through. That is our power team, and they're going to give you their contact information and everything you need to start doing deals working with them. And of course, you're going to get a PDF booklet from us. You get to keep it for life. You get 2 full days with Anish from 9 to 5. Like I said, it's cameras on and microphones on, so you are going to make some friends inevitably. You're going to be analyzing properties. You're going to be learning to work with AI. You're going to be learning some creative financing, and it's 2 full days with the niche. So you can only imagine how much your brain may hurt. I will say that your brain may hurt, but in the best way possible. I know you guys are gonna absolutely love it, and that's just in case, God forbid you don't love it. After the first day, we have a money back guarantee. So we got you covered on that. Don't worry, you are all set with us. Members, you guys get the discounted pricing. You get in for the boot camp, which are a quick start for $4.95 and non-members $6.95. You get in free for those 4 quarterly networking meetings that we have per year. You get the discount package with National RIA. So I guess if you don't want a membership, then you never shop at Home Depot or whatever. Like, I don't know, you guys, there's huge discounts to Canva Plan, Avis, Budget, property insurance, millennial property insurance, so many incredible vendors that you guys use as investors. So that is why you'd want to get the membership as well as getting access to member directory, things like that, vendors. So yes, definitely get your membership this week before the quarterly networking meeting. All of our members get in free for the networking meeting that we have next week. So you guys all have your free ticket eligible through the portal, through MemberFlow. You can reserve it right now in MemberFlow if you have your login. If you don't have your login, let me know so I can reset it for you, and you will be all set to access all of those benefits as well. They're all there for you guys. But last but very not least, coaching and mentoring here at BPM RIA. Some of you guys may know that we offer one-on-one coaching and mentoring. Some of you may not. For those of you that have no idea what I'm talking about, we put up 100% of the money for our students' deals, and we split the profit 50-50. If you're not looking for somebody to put money up for your deals, I don't know. I don't know, guys. So we have, we have an incredible program here at BPM RIA. You get matched with your own personal mentor. So a lot of you guys that signing up for these, coaching programs and, personal trainer, I'm sure that ends after your trial, whatever period you got, like a month, 2 months with us. You're a student for life. So that's what makes us different and separates us from other coaching programs. You will always be our student. You will always be in our student family. You will not get kicked to the curb. You'll still have access to monthly support classes even after our programs end. So go ahead and book that discovery call because we do have 2 programs available. I want to get you the brochure with the breakdown of everything that's included as well as the pricing information. And I'm going to just assume that those of you that are clicking no, which most of you are not, but some of you are guys that are clicking no, it's because you don't want to do wholesaling. So I will just assume that, or that you have a business that's so successful that you do not need to leverage Anish's money. So thank you guys for being honest and letting me know what you're thinking in those poll questions. I can see your answers. Nobody else can, but I can. So thank you guys for being honest with me. And I always, always, always want to thank you guys for showing up again. Thank you to National RIA for providing all the incredible resources and so many great discounts and benefits, as well as our vendor partners. You guys always want to take a moment to thank the vendor partners. They're the ones that you're going to see next week on Wednesday at the networking event. At NSU. So please, please go check them out, get familiarized, get some questions ready, know their names, throw them off a little bit. You're like, call them by their name, and they're like, whoa, like, I don't know, who should I know you? And then that's gets the conversation started. So get warmed up. get ready for some networking and get in touch with those vendors because they are there to help you get successful. So, without further ado, I would love to bring in Anish. And you guys, I'm going to be putting helpful links in the chat throughout today's session. Put those questions in the Q&A box. We don't want to miss them. And then I will be announcing that raffle winner for the boot camp at the very end, you guys. So don't forget, we have a lot to cover today. Not a lot to, I mean, Anish's life, I mean, we would need a lot more time than just the 90
I
minutes.
think you just called me
But
old
no.
somewhere in there. There's somewhere in there, I think I just called
Oh my
the
God.
long life.
Oh my gosh, no, I didn't mean that. No, not at all. I'm just saying like you've done a lot of deals, you've coached a lot of students, you've seen a lot of things and today will be a little bit more on the personal side. So I'm definitely excited for everyone else to hear because in my discovery calls with, potential students, members, things like that, I always try to give them like the brief synopsis of your story, Anish. And it's not easy because it's a very detailed, heartwarming, heart-wrenching, up and down, a lot of similar to a lot of like people who start out in business and become successful. It's never a easy slope. Like, it's never like a
Yeah,
easy breezy beautiful ride. So I always give them like my brief overview of your story, but I'm happy that we have the opportunity to kind of get into it with you, the person who's actually been through that stuff. So thank you for taking the time and for opening up today. And you know
let's
as long as,
go.
as
Yeah.
long as you guys are nice in the chat, he'll open up. But if you guys are not nice in the chat, he's not gonna open up. So
Yeah, right. Put me on the
man.
spot. So yeah, I mean, today, first of all, thank you, Alexa, for the great introduction. If you don't know Alexa, she is our COO of BPM RIA. She's also helping out with our mastermind. Also, when it comes to it, for me, it's incredible to have such a great team. We do have some mentors also that you may have seen. I believe a Harry Diamond's going to probably pop in a second as a presenter
Yeah.
in there. We have Michael Johnston and Mabby. We have Taryn Moore, Denise Reyes, and Lucian Reyes, and Victoria Diamond. So again, we have a great team here at BPM RIA. And so all I got to start with is, welcome. And look at that, Harry Diamond. You say the name and he pops up. Look at that.
He was there,
So
he was there when a lot of this stuff happened. I wasn't, but I can just imagine it. It was cool times, your growth and
absolutely,
everything.
absolutely. So welcome, welcome. So I'm Anish Dave, also known as the Deal Magnet, and I'm the president of BPM RIA and the only national RIA approved chapter in South Florida. I proudly serve also as a board member of National RIA, shaping how real estate investors grow, get funded, and build wealth across the country. But let me tell you something. None of this would exist if I didn't lose it all at first. So how many guys have lost things or lost income or lost properties in real estate? Put in the chat. I'm just kind of curious to see where you guys are at. In 2008, I lost 28 properties. I think the net worth was around, or not net worth, my equity positions was well over $3 million dollars in there. In 2010, I filed for bankruptcy. That was actually February 10th, 2010. I was sleeping on my cousin's couch with nothing but a dream, right? And a few years later, I actually bought my parents' house and paid cash for it. So I'm telling this not really to brag. It's really a roadmap. If I could do it, you could do it, right? So today we're going to go over what that roadmap looks like. How many guys feel you're stuck, frustrated, or overwhelmed to break into real estate? Put in the chat because I want to see you guys are still alive. Where are you guys really out there? Okay, a couple of you guys, right? Okay, you can relate to me. So what I was told, you're one strategy away from a breakthrough year. So let's be upfront, right? Yes, today is a real estate training. Yes, I'm going to show how students fund deals in Florida, and even with bad credit or no capital, they're still doing deals. And yes, of course, I'm going to make you an offer. Because if what I teach helps you shift even a fraction as much as it helped me, I'd be doing you a disservice not to offer more. So today I'm also going to offer our 2-day quick start training, which normally costs $695. For non-members, it is $495 for members. As Alexa said, one lucky person is going to win a free ticket, but you all can win today. Just simply simplify doing one thing, decide to decide, right? The opportunity is real to really change your life. So I think that's always important when we get to it. Harry, since you just hopped on, you want to give them a little bit of your background too?
Well, I'll save you most of it, but about 12 years ago, 13 years ago, I got involved in real estate thinking there was an additional stream of income. I joined a national program and they said, go to your local RIAs, Real Estate Investment Associations. So I did. Stumbled across BRIA, the Broward Real Estate Investment Association, and felt immediately at home. They were giving all this information for free. We were able to get any help that we needed without any ulterior motives. And when they were talking about their mentorship programs, they said, when you're out on your own, they were pushing me away before I even got in. And Victoria and I really liked that approach. And so we did jump in with both feet, burned the boats, so to speak, and quickly shot up to be the #1 students in Broward County. And because of our success over the years, we decided to become mentors and give back to you so that you can also follow a very similar path of financial independence, more time freedom, and breaking free from that 9 to 5 chain around your neck, which for some reason always never for me was never a 9 to 5. It was always like a 5 a.m. to 9 p.m. kind of chain. So I was always working more than I should have. And now we're loving life, helping you succeed. And we get to travel the world and enjoy each other's companies and go to dinners and all sorts of other wonderful things. So you're pat yourselves on the back for being here. This is a great start and a continuation for your investment career.
Yep. Thank you, Harry. And so one of the things, right, like how did this all happen, right? So how many guys have read Rich Dad, Poor Dad? Put in the chat. I'm always kind of curious. And if you haven't, go ahead and read the book. I even talk about even when I was younger, I was nerdy enough to have the board game. So that was kind of interesting. So for me, I realized I was on the path of poor dad. I have a degree in finance. I grew up in New Jersey. And I thought I was going to be living in the banking world, right? I'm going to work for the same bank uh, pretty much forever. And lo and behold, what happens? Not only do I not work for the same bank, the banks get bought out. And before you know it, guess who's losing a job, right? Now I'm starting all over. And when I read Rich Dad, Poor Dad, I realized being on the path of poor dad, it wasn't for me. And so I said, all right, let me, get my mortgage license. Started working for somebody, got my mortgage license, then opened up my own mortgage company, started doing really well. The first mortgage company had a partnership, wasn't going so well. I actually talked about this the other day, this week. Unfortunately, my partner was doing some unethical things or illegal things. And I had to actually give up the mortgage company, and she later went to jail. So, mortgage fraud. Fast forward, then I did open up another mortgage company on my own, started doing really well. I kept buying properties. And back then, if you've been in the real estate world, especially if you're investing in 2003 to 2008, it was easy to get a mortgage. You could literally do 100% financing on investment properties. Minimum credit score was even 620 and up to $1 million. Stated income, stated assets, all the above. So I kept buying more properties, right? I found a good deal and I kept buying more properties and the values started going up. So as they started going up, I kept refinancing or taking line of credits out and kept buying more properties. So the mistake I made was none of the properties were cash flowing. And what I mean by that was I thought I was diversified with duplexes, single family, condos, high end, low end, in Tampa, all the above. And the reality was the rent wasn't going up as fast as the properties or the value. And I'll give you a perfect example was I bought a duplex in Little Haiti in Miami. It was a probate deal. It was my first probate deal. There were 9 heirs. It took almost 2 years to buy this house to get all the 9 heirs on board. I bought it in I don't know, I think it was around $95,000. And it came back appraised literally 6 months later at $400,000. Right? So what did I do? I paid cash for the 95,000. I refinanced it. I probably took out, gosh, I think I took out 70%. So I got $280,000 out. I actually wound up buying other properties with that money. And I also got a line of credit. So now I'm basically leveraged out the full $400,000. Rents are only $600 per each side, if you can imagine. So that's 1,200 bucks. So the 1,200 bucks doesn't cover my mortgage. The insurance and taxes also were going up higher, right? So I went to my insurance and taxes were, gosh, it went from $800 to almost $4,000. Or I'm sorry, 4,000 in my taxes, about $2,800 in insurance. So even if I owned it free and clear, what I have to tell you was that owning it free and clear, I was still had negative cash flow, right? So then I was buying a little bit of pre-construction, I was buying this, and I started buying more properties. So how many guys just out of the chat were in real estate back in 2005, 6, 7, 8, all the above? Put in the chat. I want to see if you know what I'm talking about. Just kind of curious, right? So I kept buying more properties. So now I had a negative cash flow of almost 2 to 3,000 a month on that property. Times it by 28, right? The mortgage company was doing well until it wasn't, right? So 2008, the banks started closing, right? So from Washington Mutual going under, Countrywide, some of the other World Omni, all went bankrupt or I should say closed out, and they weren't doing mortgages. So now my mortgage business went from making 20, 30, 40,000 a month to literally zero. One of the other things I did was my dream growing up in New Jersey was to have a place on the water. So I bought a house on the Venetian Causeway in Miami Beach, or house, I should say, a condo, a 2-2, my dream place. Bought it for about $500,000, and it was old. So I renovated, and what did I do? And maybe some of you guys can relate. I over improved. So not only did I over improve on the property because I knew I was going to live in it, so I always wanted a place on the water, I managed it poorly. And let me talk about what I did. Was I had another condo living on South Beach, and I bought this place and I said, hey, let me go ahead and renovate my dream place, right? You move from New Jersey, you want a convertible, and you want to live on the water. And so my friend, he's helped me out doing flooring in some of the other apartments, some of the other fix and flips I've done. And now he finally got his contractor's license. And I said, you know what? I almost said his name. And I said, hey, you know what? You should, let me hire you to rehab my condo. I love new starter businesses. I want to really support you. And so I let him rehab the house, or the condo, I should say. What I did not do, again, it's only 3 miles from where I live, was check up on the property. So he literally didn't do anything for almost 7 weeks. So here I am paying double, right? I'm paying for where I live, I'm paying my monthly on the condo, and now I'm paying for repairs. So mistake number one, hiring a friend, right? I'm okay with hiring friends, but at the same time, you still need to check on them. So that's always important. And I'll let Harry even talk about a story about of what happened with him on the contractor side. And so now here I am on this place on the water, and it looks great, right? I'm like, okay, had to fire that contractor. He tried to sue me, and of course, it didn't go anywhere. Had to pay another contractor. So now I lost months over budget, all the above. Move in. I'm thinking, yay, market's great. I'm doing well. You guys have heard me talk about on the webinar saying, hey, please, God, let me be done. I was turning 40. I meant done working, right? What happened next was the domino effect. So I had hundreds of thousands of dollars saved, and I started carrying all the properties out of pocket, 20, 30,000 a month, right? And because I was too embarrassed, I said, I got a finance degree, I own a mortgage company. How is this happening to me? The market's got to rebound. It's got to rebound. So I literally took all my money that I had saved and kept paying it to payments. So here it goes from hundreds of thousands of dollars to like I'm outlaying 20, 30,000 a month. How many of you guys, go ahead and put in the chat, can relate to me if you've been in that situation or you know somebody, so you don't have to say it's you, just in case. Again, I'm always transparent of what happened to me. So I want to see who else has been in that. Okay, yeah, a couple of you guys. All right. Yeah, and one of our favorite vendor partners, Paul Regan, what he always said, right? We did a talk, and you could probably find it way back on YouTube, where we just talk about bad deals, and I asked him the question was, how much did you lose in 2008 to 10? When the market crashed, and he laughed, right? And he goes, $8 million. And Harry, I don't know if you remember listening to that, and I wanted to throw up. Not many times I had nothing to say. That was probably one of them when it came to that. And so he didn't, so he said, Anish, you're not asking me the follow-up question. And I said, what's the follow-up question? And he goes, well, how much money did I make? Right. And he said after that, within 2 or 3 years, he made 10 million. So the reason I'm telling that story is that don't let it be a death sentence if you lost money back then and thought you can't do it. So again, what have I learned from it? I'm all about cash flow. Equity doesn't mean anything until I sell it. All right, same thing if your stock portfolio, your 401k, you're up this much. No, I'm down this much. Well, you're really not up or down until you actually sell it and you get out of those positions. It's the same thing on the real estate side. So as I'm losing, like all these properties, one of my good friends, she is a CFO for Mace. Remember, like the Mace Your Eyes? The Mace spray, right? So I'm not sure if they're still around or not. He was a CEO. He lives in Fort Lauderdale. He has multiple homes, lives on Las Olas Isles. And I went to the boat parade and it was from his house, and it's $10 or $12 million house. And so I started talking to him, and I said, Lou, I'm like, man, it must be great that you're doing this. And I told him my situation, and he goes, Anish, you wake up every day and lose money. How's that normal? And I said, well, I just don't want my credit to be shot in this. He's like, you got to cut your losses. You got to take it. It's not a big deal. Happens to everybody. And that was the day I said, okay, I felt a little bit better and I stopped paying like fully. And, then I had to start looking into bankruptcy. What he shared with me, which I thought was really interesting, was he goes, I know you see I have millions of dollars of homes and business. What you don't know is I've been crushed on real estate or even fraud in the past. He was actually, what he shared with me was interesting was that he lost close to $6 million in a Ponzi scheme. It wasn't made off of somebody else. And he goes, you only see my wins. And so that's why I think it's important to really share like where you're at, right? So then what happens, right? My choice was I spent money for a national program as the market's changing. So I took some of my money. I was a rehabber and a buy and hold guy. Never heard of wholesaling on that end of it. So I spent, of course, $50,000 with a national program, flying all over the place. And of course, the mentors weren't local. They're in Utah, had no idea about the market. The good end of it was they said, go to your local RIA. That's how I found, well, at the time, BRIA. I took my last bit of money, right? You would think I'd be out of real estate. I'd be, what's he doing? I took my last bit of money and I did BRIA's old mentoring program. Bill and Jan Leon, the founders of Bria, were successful investors, and that's when I first learned wholesaling. And I said, wow, I could buy a property with limited capital on it or tie up property. Fast forward, I was one of the top students, and then I got to buy the companies from my mentors. And that's how we started at BPM RIA. Some of the other things out there is true is that I slept on my cousin's couch because I had no money. Number one, we will also talk about how my parents invested money with me on some of these properties because I said, oh, let me help them out. You know, I'm this real estate, king, right? Back then, everyone was a real estate king. And they wound up losing their money, right? So with me. So it wasn't only my money, it was their money, and they wound up actually losing their house. So they took line of credits. I said, hey, let's just leverage it, passive income. This is what we're gonna do. And for the people that have ever borrowed money from friends or family, it doesn't go well, it's brutal on that end of it too. So that was some of the things that happened. In the meantime, I was engaged. My parents moved in with me they lived in Georgia. Their dream house was built. Only two houses in their life, one in Jersey and the second one that they built from the ground up in Griffin, Georgia. On the golf course, 2,600 square feet, over an acre, their dream house. And now they have to move down to South Florida and Weston with their 40-year-old son and his fiance in a small 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 1,400 square foot home. So that was some of the challenges. As I started building that wholesale business, I was literally doing it out of the third room. So it's like so I've been there where, when someone tells me like, hey, you don't know what it's like, I know what it's like. Right. And like Harry, I mean, if you want to share a little bit is, I know you kind of talked about on that end of it about your mindset. Because I know if you want to share, elaborate a little bit more about your story. I know you talked a little bit about it. And where was your mindset back then?
Uh, yeah, I seem to be the system seems to be glitching on my side. So if I break up, I apologize. Um, yeah, I started out in my 20s or in my teens and 20s as a engineer in Manhattan and controlled the East Coast of the US and Mexico. So I was very successful at a young age in corporate America, building medical life support systems. And then I got engaged, and I said, when and if we have a child, we're going to be moving out of Manhattan. When a child's a year old, all of a sudden I turned around and there's a 10-month-old sitting on my couch in Manhattan. So we ended up moving to Vermont. It was my in-laws' apple orchard up in Vermont, one of the 7 or so that they owned. And it was 700 acres. There's over 70,000 apple trees in the mountains. It was gorgeous. So pretty. It was on the cover of Vermont Life magazine, and they allowed me an opportunity to run their retail farm market, pressed apple cider and bakery, and had 18 acres of farmland right near the store, around the store, to grow blueberries and raspberries and all sorts of other crops. And we became a leader in agritourism. Well, 15 years later, I was no longer an in-law, I was an outlaw. And I was surprised that since I did not control my finances, that I had nothing. And I had to start over from scratch with no income, no savings, nothing. And I dabbled around for a number of years trying to figure out what I was going to do, and then ended up coming down here this was up in Vermont. So I came down to Florida and always knew that real estate was an additional stream of income. So that's how we got started. And that's why I said we burned the boats and just jumped right into this to get things going. So we learned a lot fast. And I think I was about, I don't know how many years after you were with Bill and Jan, because I was
Yeah.
in 2012. When did you get to Bill and Jan?
Yeah. It was just at the end of 2012. Bought the companies
That's when I
2014.
came on board. Yeah,
Yeah.
you went to buy the place in April of
2014.
2013. But when were
Yeah.
you a student for for
Oh
that?
gosh, 2000, like it was right before the bankruptcy, so 2009,
Okay, so you were a few years.
2008,
I knew you were
2009.
before me. I just wanted to clarify time
Yeah,
frame
yeah,
for people because when you said that, it's like, oh no, no, he was before me. That's why
yeah,
he knows
yep.
more.
2008, 2009, all the above, right around there, right? And even that, like, right, so some of the things, again, I'm just always 100% transparent. And what I wanted to kind of hit was on that mindset. So ran into a lot of depression after having all that stuff. How did this happen? What could I have done better? Was I, drinking the Kool-Aid, like which I would want to say a lot of us were back then. If you're investing, prices are going up, it's going this. Real estate never loses, right? And then you talk to the old timers like Brad Emmer, Paul Regan. They're like, oh yeah, there was in the 80s it was this, in the 90s it was this, right? And so for me, like health wise, wasn't good. I was about 25 pounds heavier. Was number one. Just like miserable. I was just a miserable like person, and the option of going back to corporate America, it sounded like a loss, like a failure, and I just didn't want to do that. So my why of why I want to do this was pretty big, right? And for me, also the path that my parents invested money, immigrants coming from India, W-2 jobs, and they want to really support, your kids or all the above, right? So some of you guys might be parents, you guys might have older children, and you want to give them everything on that end of it and to believe in it. And then I thought, wow, I'm letting them down on that portion, right? So that becomes a challenge to an extent. And, when you really look at it, the biggest setback is your setup if you choose it, right? So at the time, I was choosing to be feeling bad about myself. And the great part of it is you get to choose at any moment that, I'm going to change this, right? You could literally say right now, take action now, right? And decide that today is your turning point, right? So for how many of you guys relate to me? And if you don't, that's okay. Just kind of curious on that end of it.
You
Got
know,
a
it's
couple
a
nods.
great opportunity, great driver when you go through these kinds of things. But know this, if you have not gone through these, you don't have to. We are here to help you
Yeah.
grow to the point where you can eliminate these steps. We don't want
Yep.
to wish these on anybody, but
Yep.
take our successes and our lack thereof and
Yep.
utilize that to help you grow.
Yep. And thanks, Walter. Yeah, yeah. Put a yeah, buddy in there, right? Yeah, this happens, right? It's not a big deal. And so the other end of it is that Harry will tell you is we've seen some younger or newer investors, I'm going to say, right? They got into the business maybe the last 8 to 10 years, and they've only been dealing with a market that goes up. And as our market is softening, they're starting to freak out, some of them, right? They're overspent, right? They bought all these things that the toys, number one, right? They think the income's going to be endless, right? Oh my gosh, like I'm doing this, and then all of a sudden it stops on that end of it. And for them now, the biggest challenge back then was, or for the newer people, is like, oh man, there's all this competition. What I could tell you as the people that have been good at this, they're thriving. We're good at this. We're still thriving in any market. We have, different systems, different ways to actually to get deals. And I never get too high and I never get too low on deals. I think the other big thing I made sure was I make sure I have a ton of reserves out there, right? So then I'm not stressing. It's a different world if you're living paycheck to paycheck. I get it. I've been there on that end of it, right? You're like, holy cow, how did this happen? So someone's actually asking a question. I like this. It's anonymous too. What age did you begin real estate investing? So I'm 54 right now, is number one. I'll be 55. I started investing in real estate truly like 1999. So that was what, 39 years old, probably is 99. I probably did my first real deal, but it was like super part-time, It was a rehab. I did it with a friend, and it was kind of like a little extra money, maybe 2000, like that end of it. So it wasn't really a job. I was like, we found a place because my friend Michelle had done a ton of flips. Her mom was a real estate. So that's when it really, I really started investing in 2001 as a career. I opened up, that's when I read Rich Dad Poor Dad, opened up the mortgage company, and I said, okay, I see all these other investors making money, right? So that's something that's, you're like, holy cow. Well, why is, Harry making all this money and I'm just doing the mortgage, right? Or I'm just a realtor, right? Got my realtor's license. So I got my mortgage license. I was referring out realtors, for people, investors. And then what was happening was they were coming back to me asking realtor questions. I was like, oh, this is so annoying. So guess what? Got my real estate license. And then I even opened up a title company, right? So I was truly a one-shop kind of person with multiple streams of income in 2001, 2002. So I thought I was going to kill it. I was like, hey, I got all these different income streams. The challenge was everything was tied into real estate, right? And it wasn't really truly passive. So that's number one. Let's see, what age were you when the bankruptcy happened? So I was 48. So February 10th, 2010. That's when the bankruptcy happened. So again, you can look it up. It's public records, all the above. So that's I think that's pretty important. So when a bankruptcy happens, let's talk about that, right? It's going to sit on your credit report for 10 years. Super difficult to, it's almost, I don't want to say impossible to get credit. You could start building credit literally the day after a bankruptcy. What you have to do is you have to get one of those credit cards. Oh my God, I just went bank on a secured card, a secured credit card where they tied into your bank account. So I got a secured credit card at some, I don't know, whatever ridiculous rate for $500. And I started slowly building credit, right? Like, hey, I got gas, pay right off. Gas, keep going. Then it went up to, $3,000 unsecured. No, then my first credit card after that, 2 years later, unsecured credit card, was like $2,000 at Capital One. Fast forward 5, 10, 20. Obviously, the bankruptcy has fallen off on my credit after 7 years. So that's been something that was a big aha moment, right? Was that, wow, now I can get credit. This is amazing. So what happens when you have no credit, right? What are your options, guys? Go ahead, put in the chat. What's your options? I don't have any money and my credit's shot. What would you do to find deals or to be in real estate investing? Right? Yep. I agree with
Talk to
Michelle, right?
Harry, the Nish.
Yeah. Yeah, you could partner, right? When you join our coaching program, obviously we put up the money, right? And the analysis on it. Eric, I agree. Creative financing. That's where I'm kind of going with that. Right? There's also, yep, Emily, there's silent investors. The challenge with silent investors, right? So let's say you have a friend or someone else that does well and they have some money and they say, hey, look, let's do this real estate thing. And here's the deal. I'll find the deal and we'll split the profits. Here's the challenge. I'm going to ask if Harry said that, and he's never done a deal. And he said, look, you're going to put up all the money. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do the work. I'm going to figure all this stuff out and we're good. And I'm going to say, Harry, how many deals or what have you done? And he's like, no, I haven't done anything. We'll figure it out. How do I feel about that? Right? Like exactly, Eric, the lack of experience becomes a challenge, right? So I learned how to wholesale. So I had a couple friends, of course, that did really well. So one of the things I did was I was still living in the Venetian Causeway in a beautiful high rise. So they had a club room. And what I did was I just learned wholesale. I was like, yeah, you could get something under contract. You could do this. You only hold it for a couple hours. And, people think you're crazy, right? They're like, what do you mean? That does, especially someone that's new or not in the real estate world. Is that even possible? Is that legal? And so what I did was I invited about 50 of the people that I knew that were quote unquote successful, that had jobs or money or something, had some hors d'oeuvres. And I did a whole, I don't want to call it a pitch, but I was explaining how wholesaling works and why they'd want to invest with me. And out of 50 people, 2 people agreed. right? They're like, you know what? I'll try it out. It doesn't sound like a risk. I know you, even though, again, I filed bankruptcy. How many of you guys can relate that it may be difficult to find someone to trust you when you have no experience? Give me a yeah, buddy. I'm just curious because this is what happened to me. And so now I got I got two people and they're in. And I didn't know anything about transactional funding really. I said, I'm going to find the deals. And so I didn't have any money for marketing, right? I had enough money for ReFX, thank God. So I was able to have software. I was knocking on doors on that end of it. The most amount of money I had was $500 for a deposit, right? Sleeping on my cousin's couch, $500 deposit. And the funny part was sometimes I even had to borrow that money or wait, like, oh man, the rent, or I need not rent, or I got these bills coming up. I could float this. So all those things were happening at the same time, right? So I couldn't really go to someone like, hey, you also put up the deposit too. Like, man, you can't even put up a deposit. Like, you're going to fund my deal. And so what I did was because I was so desperate to find deals, and back then, remember 2010, everyone was losing, and you could buy houses for, gosh, I bought a house for like 45,000, 65,000. At the time, it could have been $1 million. Like I was like out of touch, 65 grand. Oh my God, that's so much money. And so I had these two investors. And what I did with them, which, they loved, is I went 50-50 with the profits with them. So imagine me finding the deal. I literally borrowed their money for maybe sometimes I may have had to hold it for 2 or 3 or 4 days, and I'm making, anywhere from 20 to 30,000 bucks on some of the deals. And they're making 10 grand for, I don't know, let's say it's a day to 4 days, 5 days. Man, I don't know. I can't even tell you what the return on that is, right? The annual return is going to be some crazy number. So they were loving it, right? So I was loving it. At least I'm making some money on that end of it, right? So it's like really important to me. And I didn't know any creative financing back then. So I didn't have that in my tool. I just knew how to wholesale. So I was finding deals. And the other challenge was I could only do one deal at a time. The reason was I didn't have enough capital. So how many guys have trouble raising capital? Put in the chat. Give me a yeah, buddy, if you're having trouble raising capital. So now, right? Okay, some of you guys, thanks for, yep. Luanda, I got you. Yeah, so it's so crazy until you start doing a bunch of deals. Now I got a bunch, right? Now they're telling their friends. They're like, oh my God, I made this with Anish. So now they're pouring money in. The challenge was the better I got this, it was too expensive. So when you even join our coaching program, the 50-50 is phenomenal. There's no one else doing it. I'm taking all the risk, and eventually you're going to realize I'm too expensive. And that's a good thing, right? We believe in abundance here at BPM RIA. So when you first start out, 50-50 is great. Even Harry, like they're doing a lot of deals by themselves. And sometimes they're like, hey, this deal's more complicated. Do you want to split this one? So as you start doing that, and again, I had no creative financing techniques. It's just pure wholesaling on that portion. So now creative financing, and we've done webinars in the past about creative financing. I will touch on it also on the 2-day quick start when you join us for that weekend. And on that creative financing, put in the chat, what are some of the creative financing techniques you think might work today? Just kind of curious. And what is, Harry, do you want to define what a creative financing means to you? Without actually saying the tech.
Financing that's creative. I know you
Yeah,
love using words with the definitions, they use the same words.
yeah.
Creative finance, there's a lot of different ways to creative finance, from seller financing to
Yeah. I was going to say don't give them away, but I was just defining. Yeah. So
oh, okay.
I was asking them, but what I
Oh,
was
sorry
looking
for
for
that.
was non-traditional loans. You're not going to Bank of America, Chase to get a loan, right? That's a traditional way that I used to get loans. That's what we're talking about. Even DSCR loans, debt service cover ratio loans, those are traditional, more, that's a little alternative financing. And at the same time, you're going to an actual lender, right? So some of the And I see some of you guys put on here, and Harry said it, seller financing's one. Emily, you know, sub two, lease options, right? So let's kind of just talk about some of these, right? And yeah, you could get hard money lenders, right? So Harry, what are you seeing on hard money? I know some of our hard money lenders pretty well. I know you know some of them well, but would you want to give our audience an idea what is like the loan to value, generally speaking, with no experience?
Usually they'll lend if you're new, they're going to lend maybe 75% to 80% of the loan. So if you're borrowing 100,000, you have to come up with 20 to 25% out of your own pocket. And that's even before rehab costs.
Correct, right? So if you're looking at an average house of 250,000, maybe 300 now, I don't know. Let's just use that. 20% is 60 grand, right? If it's, 30%, it's 90 plus closing cost, right? Plus insurance, you're going to pay points. Rates are anywhere from 10 to 15%, depending on experience. You may have to come up with all the repairs. There's a person, a member in our group, I won't say her name, just did a rehab and thought, rehabs are easy. She's a licensed agent and she's going to lose about 50 grand, right? The comps weren't there. The numbers were too thin on that, and we get calls, Harry will tell you, we get calls all the time, about 3 to 5 calls a month of people losing money on deals. It happens. No one brags about it on Bigger Pockets. So yes, hard money is an option and you still need money, right? So sub two is basically you're taking over the mortgage. You're not assuming it, right? So big difference, assuming you have to actually get qualified. What are some of the benefits of taking over someone's mortgage? Put in the chat. Just kind of curious. What do you think some of the benefits are? Everyone's thinking, they're like, okay, right? So what about control, right? You get their low rate. Yep, Michelle, to get their low rate is big, right? No credit check on it. It's minimal. It can be minimal cash out of pocket or no cash, right? So it's a great way to take over properties, and there's a correct way to do this, guys. We'll talk a little bit about it at one of our creative financing events. You definitely want to put it in a trust. You want to make sure you're using a real estate attorney to create those documents. You want to make sure the insurance is pledged to you, right? In case something happens, fire or all the above. So there are certain things out there, and the big thing is, again, you might be able to take advantage of a 2.5, 3.5% interest rate versus today's rates of 7 or 8%. So it's very popular, and there's a right way to do it and a wrong way, right? So the wrong way could, you could lose the property, you could be sued, all the above. So again, great strategy. My other one that I love is seller financing. So what's seller financing, Harry? What's the easiest in layman words?
The seller is the bank.
Yeah, right? The homeowner's the bank. So yeah, Alberto, you're asking about assuming you actually have to qualify for the loan. Harry's got a loan at Bank of America. I want to assume his loan. I have to actually send my tax returns, pay stubs, all the above. Right? On the sub two, you're not notifying the bank that you're taking over the mortgage. Big difference. So you still have to qualify, right? And if there's some equity on it, then I have to still pay Harry out of pocket. There could be some things in there. So big difference, but yeah, seller is the bank. So what are the advantages for the seller? Why would you want to seller finance if you were the seller? What would be some of the things? Right? Harry, why would you want to be you could either way, as the investor or
I was just going to type it in, but no immediate tax hit. They're not going to have a large chunk of money coming in, so they don't have to pay tax on it.
Yeah, so no capital gains, right? If they've owned it for a long time. The other end of it is maybe they like the monthly payments without the headache, right? They're not worried. Yep, Alberto, you're not worried about maintenance on the house, taxes, insurance, all the above on that, right? So for the seller, there's a lot of good reasons, right? As the buyer, as the investor, there's a ton, right? It can be little or no money out of pocket. You might get cash flow from day one, right? So again, you're building all these things out there. So and you might be able to have, you know, 5, 6, 7. So if you would ask me today, right? Like if I was in 2008 and I lost everything again, what would I do? I would definitely wholesale, right? So when you're wholesaling, you could control the property once you have a deposit down to make some quick money, right? In and out. I would definitely do sub two and seller financing. You can also do lease options. I'm just not a big lease option person. Just feel like it's a lot of work because then I got to find someone else to rent it. The option fee is non-refundable. Yes, I could seller finance it to my buyer and make it non-refundable also. So there's different things in there. I just don't think I feel like it's too much work for me. Unless I really think that, you know, I could do an option on a house that I think it's gonna blow up. Like when I say blow up, I mean price wise. Not physically blow up, right? So where the price goes up, right? So those are the three options I would use. Or more importantly, I would just join our BPM mentoring program. You don't have to worry about that, right? You don't have to worry about the deposit. You don't have to worry about any of the other good stuff out there. So I think that's always important in general is to go out there and come up with a plan. You know, so I always tell everyone clarity beats chaos. How many guys agree with me? Give me, yeah, buddy, right? When you're clear, you have a vision. Yeah, Walter, yeah, buddy. Yep, a couple of you guys. Okay. There's too many people. I see it all the time. And so I'm a culprit too. So I'm going to start with myself is the new shiny syndrome object, right? Like meaning, oh, I want to try tax deeds today. Tomorrow I want to do this. And so where I'm at now, luckily I could take some calculated chances on different things. When I was in the grind and trying to make money, I could not afford to take those chances. I need to, you know, make money. I know, you know, Marshall always says, Marshall Silver, who's one of my mentors, and what he always says is money solves most things. Not everything, but most things. So you making money, you could try different things. And then, you know, how many guys have ever heard of the 80-20 rule, the rule of success, right? What do you focus on daily? Are you creating money-making activities? That's the question, right? Am I, you know, talking to sellers? Am I really prospecting? Or am I so worried about making sure everything's perfect? Little secret, guys, everything's not going to be perfect. The question, did you use or look into business credit cards for creative financing? So business credit cards, until you get to a certain level, they're all personally guaranteed. The difference is like if you pick like a Capital One business card, it won't show up on your personal credit unless you stop making payments. Indirectly, if you go through the fine print, it's based on your credit score. So if you have a new business and no business credit, that's gonna be different, right? Like you're not gonna get that. Yes, they'll give you, you know, Capital One, Chase will give you a credit card, but you're specifically guaranteeing it with your personal credit. So if your personal credit is shot, you're not going to get that card. And with the creative financing, you really don't need it. You still do need money, right, for the attorney to really set up the agreement the right way, because you're not going to want to do this yourself. So there are going to be some fees. There might be recording fees, also transfer fees. So you're still going to need some money, maybe not a ton. But the idea of zero money is not true, right? You could still do 100% financing, seller financing, 0% interest, and you'll still need money for closing costs. Can you roll it in? I guess you could. I mean, you got to be pretty aggressive on that. So I think that's a good point on when it comes to it, right? And so, you know, the big question I always have, right, is what if your fear of failure was just untrained discipline? right? How many of you guys have the fear of failure? Put in the chat. I want to know. And I know some of you guys are saying, I'm too afraid to even put that in the chat. And so
Some
some of the
people even
guys, good. Oh, sorry.
some people even have a fear of success.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, if everything worked out, what are you going to complain about? Right? As I teach, I work with PAC, the Professional Athletic Committee. Those are professional athletes. And what we always say, or the guys, what they talk about, it's what's your version of game day? What does that look like? Every day is game day, right? Versus, life happening to you, being a victim, right? So that's some of the things out there, right? Is that sometimes you're just, getting by. And so with the BPM Quick Start Blueprint, right? It's not just a course, it's a system, a community and a movement. We're here to be with you, right? People always ask how we're different, from other people. We put up 100% of the money for the deals. We got real deals. We're putting up money for inspections, appraisals if necessary. We've done for probate attorneys, all the above, right? So we're using, technology from REI Black Book to Refax. We have accountability with your mentors. And then we have a private network where we can move properties pretty quick when they're good deals, right? So we don't just train real estate investors, we build wealth creators. So people are asking, right? I see a chat, like, what do I do now, right? And so a couple of yous, I know Alexa will put it in, book a discovery call. You guys said you want to really have a breakthrough year, you got to book a discovery call. You got to get
It
started.
doesn't cost anything to put a discovery call.
Yeah, exactly. I always kind of crack up on it. People are like, okay, I can't even do that, right? And you got to ask yourself, what's the cost of doing nothing for another year,
Expensive.
right?
Expensive for doing nothing.
Financially, emotionally, right? Those are things that happen if you let another year go by. I've seen it, Harry will tell you from the meetings, man, such great people, and it's years later, and they still haven't made even an offer on a house. They want to be in real estate. Hey, did you talk to any sellers? No. Did you make any offers? No, right? And then the question I have for you, right, is imagine 12 months from now, fully funded, your first flip done. What impact will that make in your life? Right? Put in the chat. What does that really look like? I did my first deal, right? And so Harry's first deal, you guys made, I always get this wrong, 34,000 was the net,
34 grand.
that was the net profit, right?
That was the net profit. Yeah.
Yeah. So 50-50, that's 17 grand each, right? My first deal on $500, I made $2,000 assignment fee and I was ecstatic. I 4x my money, knowing that, that I wasn't gonna close on it and keep it. I didn't have the money. I was like, holy cow, this thing really works on that end of it, right? So I think it's just really important about that. I tell people the same thing, right? It's not about motivation. I know you guys are motivated. This is your moment, right? You want to book a discovery call and let it really be your breakthrough year, because motivation is not enough, is what I've seen. Right? You can be motivated. I hate to say it, I'm going to use health, motivated to, get healthier. Okay, it's different when you have someone holding you accountable on that end of it, right? So what I'm going to do is, we're showing you certain ways of, how you could get into real estate, how to do deals. And I'm going to kind of, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show a couple of our success stories of deals that we've done to see, make sure that you're getting everything. You see my screen, right? Yep. And so let me just show you some of the deals that our students have done. Right, so this is one of my favorites. Harry, you want to talk about this deal for Julio's?
Julio found this just by driving around to and from work. He saw this house couldn't be seen from the road. It had abandoned vehicles all over. This is after we cut down a considerable amount of overgrowth. But the guy was a hoarder, clearly. He was living in there for years without any access to bedrooms, bathrooms, or the kitchen. Um, Julio reached out to the son, who didn't like his father living in such a situation and wanted time to get his father to understand that his son built a house for him up in Melbourne, Florida, and he wanted him to move. And so we worked this system out. We worked this the whole thing out, and he wanted his father to get 200,000 out of this. So we gave him, I think, 300,000, a little over 300,000 for this house in this current condition. And we netted, these are not HGTV numbers, guys. These are real net profits. And all we did was clean the house out. We didn't even do anything else.
So like a summary on it, right? Julio's driving for dollars, couldn't see the house, number one, right? Knocked on their door. The house actually had equity. The son, right, wanted over $700,000 for the house, right? Harry and Julio were listening. We teach you how to listen to the sellers, ask some key questions. He wanted to buy a house in Melbourne. He just needed a net $200,000, 220 or 230. We ran the numbers backwards to see what the offer price would be. And also the violations and liens were how much? 380?
386,000.
386,000. So guys, if you don't know, hard money lenders will not lend with a $386,000 lien. Most private money, if they don't know what they're doing, they're not going to lend. They're going to say, oh my God, that's attached to it. It's my money, and we know how to negotiate with cities, depending on the city. All cities are not created equal. Harry went with our student Julio in front of the magistrate. We started fixing some of the things, prior to even owning it. The code enforcement person went to bat for us. Basically, they got in front of the judge, the magistrate. We got it down to $3, $1 for each lien. So $386,000 to $3. There was 1,600 and I'm gonna get this wrong, $70 in hard costs.
Yep.
So hard costs is what the city actually paid for. So 1,000, so from $386,000 to $1,673, and we had our seller pay for it. This house was literally sitting there for years, $138,000 profit, and Julio made 60 and change, 65, and again, he's got a full-time job. And so this is also Julio's deal, right? So we're calling him the Hoarder King. He likes knocking on doors, right? So we have different ways. Can you do mailers? Absolutely. Can you cold call? Some people just like driving for dollars and knocking on doors. The key is you have to make the phone ring. You got to talk to sellers, right? If it's not the phone ringing in, you have to go out and talk to sellers. So this one was a probate, right? And
This was turned out to be a double probate, and obviously no jokes about door knocking on this one. Clearly, there was no one home, but Julio found the son that has been estranged from the family, but he was the legal beneficiary of the estate. So we were able to make him a deal, and he walked away with, I think, about 30 grand. We cleaned out the house again because a lot of our buyers don't see the vision that we do, so they can see it better once it's cleaned out. So for a few grand, it wasn't that expensive, maybe a little less on this house. We cleaned the house out, which, as you can see, is still pretty disgusting. But and then we put it out to our buyers list. We didn't know exactly how much someone would be willing to pay, but this one also linked to a considerable net profit. And we sold it with the boards attached, just like you see it there. Just emptied the house out.
Yep. Didn't rehab it, didn't do anything to it. Another $110,000, right? So my question is, if you're counting two of Julio's deals, right? 110 and 138. So what's that? 55 and gosh, you make me do math real quick, 69. That's $135,000. So for how many of you guys making an extra $135,000 is a good thing? Give me a yeah, buddy. And by the way, he put zero money of his own, right? So his return is what? Going to be, for my math people, it's infinite, right? He didn't put any money into the deal. So that's what's possible in our market. So I'm going to play a quick video of Antonio, one of our students, and what he had to say.
Hi, everybody. My name is Antonio Lopez. My company name is Antlop Investment Properties. And before I met Anish and joined the BPM RIA mentoring, I had just a basic idea of what I needed to do in real estate investing. After I joined, aside from learning pretty much everything that was required to learn about real estate investing and to become successful, one of the biggest benefits that I received was the amazing network of people that were part of the club. Everything that you can think of, everything that you need in order to be successful in real estate investing, you can find it here at the BPM RIA. So thank you so much, BPM and Anish, for everything. I really appreciate it. I owe you guys a ton. And for you guys watching this, I highly encourage you to check out BPM RIA. It's the first place you need to, where you want to start your real estate investing journey. So.
Yeah, and so so Antonio, what I like about Antonio, he was a mentoring student. I wanted to call him a colleague now. Like we're true peers, meaning he's, built an Airbnb business. He does coaching. He's, built out an acquisition team. He does creative financing. And he started with zero real estate experience, just like you, right? And did the boot camp, and he just trusts the process right now. Right. So this one, right, Harry, you want to talk about these?
This one was a deal that actually had equity, a probate deal. I was in pre-foreclosure, just cleaned this out, found the brother who was estranged from his brother for 35 years. So we made him a deal and paid the bank off in full. The deal was so good, I purchased this in my Roth account. So when I resold it, this is the kind of tax-free growth I had. There's also a question of, I saw Alberto put in how old are these deals? These deals are constantly available. I'm working on 3 right now. They're, as we set up new slides and everything, but these are relatively recent deals, all of them.
Yep.
They're constantly happening.
And so the big thing is $1,000 didn't fix the house. He made $145,000 tax free. These are 2 duplexes, same thing. Harry and Victoria bought it in their Roth IRA. I always love Harry almost said that he almost didn't go knock on the door or go check out the houses. Then he realized it's only about 6 or 7 blocks away. And guess what? We didn't even clean it up. Harry was a landlord for about 13 days. And then we found a buyer for him. So this was our record still at $265,000 tax free on the same $1,000. So $400,000 tax free. And we show you how to do this when you're in our program, right? We want you to make money, and then we want you to really make tax-free money and start building that generational wealth. We also rehab houses also. So this is one of the houses out there, great bones all the way through. What I mean by that, the roof was great, the windows, all the above. We came in there. It was a short sale. We cleaned it up, right? Renovated it. We staged it. $167,000. So when you're one of our elite students, I put up all the money for the deals and the rehab. So you're gonna learn hands-on working rehab with one of our mentors, and I put up all the money. So not bad. She made $81,000 for 4 months. Not bad work, and she learned how to rehab a house.
I still use Anish's money today. My
Yeah.
money I'm investing elsewhere.
Yeah, absolutely. Right. And so again, here's another house in North Miami Beach. This is Violet's deal. Same thing. She had a bird dog. They saw him cleaning out, wholesaled at $170,000. She probably owned it for about 2.5 hours. Right. So not a bad hit when it comes to it. This was another house in South Miami. Um, the seller thought it was a tear down. They got it as an estate deal, meaning it was left to them. We looked at it. Unfortunately, this is what you think it is. No problem for us. I would have passed on actually most of these deals back in 2007 or 8 because I had no idea. Cleaned it up.
Came close on this one to getting the number one.
Yeah,
Came close.
$235,000. And then I'm going to play a quick video from Nicole, who did one of our quick starts recently.
Hi, my name's Nicole Bergatti. I'm with Bergatti Properties, and I'm currently a full-time employee of CBRE. I'm events and meeting coordinator. And prior to starting the 2-day quick start course, I've always wanted to do real estate. I've always been interested in flipping homes and all that good stuff. And I knew Anish, and I knew that this is what he did. And he's so smart and he knows real estate so well. And so I went ahead and just took the course, and I am so glad I did, because a couple months later, we ended up closing a deal that was worth $42,000. And that's great money. And now I have a few more deals in the pipeline, and I'm super excited about my investing future. And that wouldn't have been possible without Anish and his team. And I 100% recommend that you take this course, get started, and do it.
Yeah. And so what I like about Nicole is that her husband was like, I don't know if there's anything to this, right? So sometimes, it's family and friends that are not entrepreneurs. Her husband's a W-2 guy and didn't think it was possible. And then she got a check for $21,000. And her husband was pretty happy about it, right? And now she's doing deals on the side, and she really wants to eventually become a full-time real estate investor. She loves the hospitality hotel business out there. And so people always ask us, what's the advantage of working with us, right? We fund 100% of the deals, no credit, no problem. We put up all the money. How many of you guys like that? Give me a yeah, buddy. Also, we profit share. You make money on the first deal. So this is not one of those things that you take the 6 months and now you go out and make offers. We want you to talk to sellers right away. The great part is the mentors get paid out of my 50%, right? We go 50-50 on the deals. Harry's got his own deals going on, and he has a vested interest in you doing well, right? How many guys have that analysis paralysis? We're going to get rid of that. Your mentors are going to help you on that. Take action and close deals, right? And then the other big thing is you have direct access to your mentors, right? So you're going to have their cell phones, you're going to have my cell phones. We give you unlimited access. And what I mean by that, we don't count how many calls or all the above. What I am going to tell you is you're going to start talking to your mentors more when you have deals. Yep. So that's one of the things that's really different from any other programs out there. We do have 2 programs. We have our core program and our elite program. So make sure you book a discovery call. We have financing options. We could see if this is the right program for you. We only take 6 students per month. So we're starting to take for August. And so what we also have is our quick start program coming up August 16th and 17th. So what is the quick start? And I see some of the names in here. Some of you guys have done the quick start. Go ahead and put it in the chat if you've done the quick start, because I do see some names in there. And so we're going to show you how to find off-market properties, right? We're going to show you how to analyze properties quickly. We're going to show you how to do double closings, creative financing, self-directed IRAs, how we're using AI also. We're going to have 4 great speakers from Jose Ramirez setting up your tax structure, right, for wholesaling and business. Kevin Thatcher is going to talk about assignments and double closings. Carl Shealy, who's our contractor that's been with the organization for 28 years, so way before me, and is a student. He'll be talking about how to rehab houses and what to look for. And Francisco Mago, the founder of RehaFax. So he's going to be on there too. So it's going to be 2 full days when we do this, right? And for us, it's something that we love doing. And one of the things what I really love about it is we also even offer a money back guarantee, right? So some of you guys are saying, I'm not really sure. I'm not sure. I've done other courses, I've done all those things. So I will give you a 100% money back guarantee after the first day. So the deal is you got to be on for the full day. And if you say, hey, it's not for me, no questions asked, we'll go ahead and refund you too. So we always like people that are in action. So one of the bonuses is Marshall Silver, who we love, and actually we haven't announced it yet. We have him coming down here in South Florida, October 14th to 16th. So I guess I'm announcing it now, but we'll formally announce it. His tickets are basically $2,995 per ticket. I'm going to give you 2 tickets. And it's really going to get your mindset. So I am in his inner circle. I've spent well over 100 and $30,000 with Marshall to build my business. So I'm throwing that in for people that are in action. Again, these are bonuses just for today. I will also provide transactional funding, right? You find a deal, you do the quick start, and you say, hey, I found a deal. We need to do a double closing. I will put up the money for the deal for transactional funding, same day closing money. As a bonus, our co-wholesaling program, we have well over 10,000 cash buyers. All that means is we can sell your properties quick, right? You get it under contract, you need transactional funding. That's another $40,000 value, right? And then, of course, our experienced power team, right? When we say our experienced power team, that's pretty huge. Meaning we have contractors, we have mentors, we have insurance people, we literally have everything. So we'll partner with you on the deal. You get access to our buyers, our paperwork, our structure, and we'll help you close. So one of the things that we are also noticing on our co-wholesaling, we are averaging well over $40,000 per wholesale deal. So if you add all that in, it's $80,990 in bonuses, guys. So if you guys are liking us, put it in the chat, right? Put in the chat. I'm kind of curious, or maybe I shouldn't add any more bonus. Yeah, if that bonus stack just blew the excuses out of the water, put yeah, buddy. Just want to say, and if it didn't, I don't have to give you the bonuses, right? And as I mentioned, the 100% money back guarantee, guys. So I know some of the people have been in this quick start. You could ask them, right? Put something. I know Jorge, you've been at it. Lawanda, maybe one thing that you got out of the quick start for the other people that weren't sure. Again, the quick start is via Zoom, cameras on, guys. So you will be at the comfort of your own home. So take out your phone, click on the QR code, get your seat, guys. I think we only have a few more seats left. We keep these quick starts small on purpose. They're interactive all the way through. I know, Alexa, there's one person that doesn't have to pay, right? Or if they've already been to it, you could either come back again for free, or you could give it as a gift.
Alrighty, let me see. Where is this? Okay, I got the name. We're locked in. Let me see if they are in here. 1 second. Hold up. Okay. Perfect. All right, ready. Our raffle winner for the free seat for the 2-day quick start is Deb S.
Oh, Deb, hey.
You are the
Oh, yeah.
runner-up winner because I don't think that the original winner was in here anymore. I think they
All
hung
right. So Deb,
or they're
you got
under
it.
a different name that I don't know.
Yeah. Deb, and Deb comes to a lot of our events. So I'm not sure. She might have already been to one. You're more than welcome to hop back in for another one, or you could give it as a gift.
Yeah, I'm not even
So
sure. Yeah, let me know,
All
Deb.
all the above. So I want to thank you guys again. I want to thank Harry and Alexa. Today was a little bit different compared to what we usually do, and I just figured I'd tell you my story so that you could understand that you deserve this. So when you join our program, it's the beginning of a lifetime relationship, right? Meaning I've been friends with Harry, Victoria, Antonio for some since I guess 2012, right? Run 13 years or so. And now you guys are mentors, and I learn a ton of stuff from them also. For me, this is why I do it. People ask me, what do you do? I always tell people I'm in the transformation business using real estate. So again, make sure you sign up. You can do it via Zoom. If you want to take advantage of the bonuses, you got to sign up. And if you can't make it in August and you still want the bonuses, you could come to our November event too, because you're going to want to see Marshall Silver's turning point big time in October. So, all
Yep.
right, guys. Thank you guys. Yep, got Harry.
Just want to add one thing, guys. When I first started, I didn't know which direction we wanted to go. And having an organization that was in place so that whatever direction we went or whatever situation we faced, that there was somebody who was an expert in that, and that was invaluable. And having everybody as part of the team, being able to help us grow, made the biggest difference in our lives and biggest difference for our success. So, you know, I can't thank Anish and the organization more for doing, what they said they were going to do and helping us succeed. And yes, now, we don't know everything, but we have access to people who do. I don't. I can't speak for Anish. He knows everything, but I certainly don't. But thank you. I have to run personally because Victoria needs my assistance. She had hip replacement. So thank you all for being
Thank,
here. I'll see you all next Wednesday, the 6th, and I'll
yeah.
let Anish close out. Thanks, buddies.
Yeah, we'll see you Wednesday at our in-person meeting, Nova University. Zachary Beach is an expert on creative financing. And again, we'll be doing a half a day in-person workshop Saturday on August 9th. So make sure you get your tickets for the Saturday workshop also. And again, thanks
I do
for,
have also one more thing, Anish. Sorry to cut you off. I do
yeah,
have a couple of our mentor students in here, and you guys should have gotten a special message yesterday about an on-site support class. So just don't
yeah,
want to disclose that location on the webinar,
yeah,
but you have the details for that, our coaching students. And one more thing, sorry, Anish, you brought up the word clarity. And I think that's so important. And I think that's what a lot of people will gain in the 2-day quick start is clarity. So, yes. And then the half day event for next weekend, not this weekend, but the next weekend, August 9th, creative financing workshop that will be in the same building as where we were last weekend, Garth, for the workshop that Anish taught at NSU. So, same building. I think it's honestly the same classroom. The in-person workshop half day with Zach Beach, creative financing. That I think that's in the same classroom as where we were last weekend, the second floor to the left of the elevator. So yes, just give me a call or email me or text me if you have any questions on that. And I hope you guys have a wonderful weekend. I can't wait to see you guys and actually shake your hands and network with you on Wednesday. So thank you guys so much for coming out
yeah.
today.
And
Did
and thank you
support.
guys for the people that have been on all our webinars these last 3 days. Totally appreciate the support. And we will see you Wednesday. So thank you guys. Take care.
Thank you. Take
Bye.
care, guys. Bye-bye.